Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory Podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
I've been good. Hit the fucking like button. I've been great, dude. We spoke about this in the last pod. It was nice to be on a vacation, but honestly, it was even nicer to be home in my bed. Bro, it was epic, dude. First time in my own bed in 4 weeks. We didn't do a goddamn thing. I laid by the pool, just enjoying Florida weather. It rained for 10 minutes and then it's sunshine the rest of the day. Like, just pure relaxation. So everything good on my end, bro. How about you?
Weekend was pretty good. This weekend we went down to my boy Moon's place. So he's
it's like San Jose.
I think technically Mountain View. I don't know, like I just consider everything down there San Jose. Same shit to me, but it's cool because his apartment has like a pool and a gym that he doesn't really utilize the pool. He utilizes the gym, but I wanted to use the gym because it has a heavy bag for boxing mitts, and I don't have one in mine in my apartment. But basically, we were hoping to go to his place, use his amenities, and then kind of have like a drinking, hanging out night. So
Sure.
Sarah's friend Jason came down with his wife. So we went out at night to have dinner and do karaoke and stuff. But it was kind of nice to chill and take advantage of his apartment amenities
Nice.
while we waited for the rest of the crowd to get there. So that was a super chill Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, honestly, didn't do a whole lot, just kind of lounged around at home. We saw a movie yesterday.
Oh, what'd you see?
Boogeyman. It's it's a horror movie.
One?
Yeah, it's a newer one.
Okay. This is you saw this at like AMC.
Yeah, at AMC.
Okay.
It was all right. It was, a PG-13 horror movie. I have to remind myself, if it is a PG-13 horror movie, to see it at like the most odd time of day, on the most odd day of the
because you
week.
don't want to be around the kids?
Yeah, for some reason, these motherfuckers always find their way into the theater and then ruin it. And they think they're funny by laughing at the, like, overreacting to the scenes where they think it's funny. They'll just, laugh out loud, but obnoxiously on purpose to piss people off. Fortunately, I think someone eventually got him kicked out. I don't want to be that like old grumpy person who's like causing a scene and shit, but I don't know. It just really pisses me off. I don't recall ever being like that as a teenager, and I just pray to God nothing happens to where, like, I don't know, one of them throws something at me or some shit, because I'm gonna lose my shit and end up punching out a 13-year-old if that happens.
But question though, are you like even in like a area where there's like a lot of kid population?
Not really. That's what's weird. Like, when we walk around the city, I don't really see kids, so I don't know how they find their way to Union Square.
Yeah, I would think the same thing, because like even like, dude, I remember like maybe I had to go downstairs for something when I was leaving your apartment complex, and I saw like a family like opening their apartment door to get in or get out, and like even like them having like 2 kids, I was like, that's fucking weird. You know what I mean? Like the idea of like a family being in that apartment made like 0 sense to me. So the idea of a movie theater in that part of the city to be packed with kids seems like odd, but yeah, I mean, maybe it's like families going on like a trip to the city or some shit like that.
Yeah, maybe. And I don't think we really have like elementary schools or middle schools in the area. So it's even more weird to me how this happened. But it seems like we just have horrible luck. Like, we went to see Little Mermaid the other week. We were sitting next to this person. They must have been schizophrenic. No, but this was an adult who was fucking, they're like schizophrenic or some shit. They were literally speaking to themselves, not on the phone, just mumbling, whispering weird shit the whole movie.
But loud enough that you heard.
Yeah, loud enough to where it sounded like they were talking to someone on the phone, but we've verified they weren't talking to anyone.
Damn, bro. That's crazy, bro, because I feel like, again, common sense isn't common. That's like the corny saying. But like, I remember like, dude, like I feel terrible if like my phone even lights up at a theater. Like, I'm just like, oh shit, they're kicking me out. You know what I mean? So the fact that people feel so comfortable just like do whatever the fuck they want is, dude, that's why I actually hate, I like going to like all the newer theaters have like the, order your food kind of a thing, but I low-key hate it because these motherfuckers keep serving during the movie and having like interactions. I'm like, bro, like I can't hear, man. Like there should be like a time limit. Cause I think some theaters do that. Like I think the one by my house does it, but it's not AMC. Like, hey, you can't order past this time because you're gonna ruin the fucking film, bro. Because I feel like there's some AMCs where you can just order all day long. And I'm like, bro, like we're an hour in. Figure it out.
Like,
dude. Like,
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what it is. I guess it's bad etiquette, but it seems like common sense to me that you're around fucking other people in the dark who aren't speaking. Why do you think it's fine to talk about like, you know, your friend's fucking date, like during the climactic scene? Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like people are stupid as fuck.
Yeah. So Boogeyman, not great. How was Little Mermaid? Because I heard that has like amazing reviews.
It was actually really good. Surprisingly, it was what it was supposed to be, or what I expected, I should say.
Do you remember
I'm not really
Little Mermaid as a kid?
Surprisingly not. That's like one of the few Disney films
Yeah,
where
neither do I, bro.
I didn't watch it like 50 times. Like I did that to Lion King.
Oh, bro, Lion King, bro. Lion King taught me what life is and wasn't, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like I watched, like high key, like I was actually mad at the remake because I was like,
same.
bro, the cartoon was perfect, bro. Like I understand why you did it because like you want the bag and like you're not gonna turn down hundreds of millions of dollars. Right. But bro, that original Disney Lion King was perfection, bro. Like perfection. But yeah, like I have the same like so like when people like up in arms around like her being black or whatever, I'm like, bro, like was that movie even like lit? Like, do we even care about fucking Ariel? Like who cares, dog? Like,
yeah, it was cool. I heard people actually complaining that the love interest was white. So I mean, I guess nobody's ever satisfied. But what I'm beginning to realize, and it's exactly why you and I weren't the biggest fans of the Lion King live action, is the cartoon animations are allowed or are able to evoke emotions that like CGI or regular human beings can't. So it's kind of weird when like the crab and fish or whatever are screaming and their face is just stoic and like fucking not moving at all. And I'm like, how is this supposed to bring back the same emotions that a childhood Disney movie can?
Yeah, facts. Again, I get what they're doing though, right? They're just trying to like, there's almost like I don't know if you like hip on like to fashion culture recently, but there's like a big movement by Abercrombie and Fitch. Like they come back in like a major way. Like their stock hasn't been higher since like the early 2000s. And I think so they realized that like, all right, dude, like the people you're selling to now are the same people you sold to before. They're just older now, right? So you got to catch up to their trend. I think Disney's doing the same thing. Like they know the same people going to watch these movies are the people who actually were alive when that movie first came out. And then they're older now. So let's like take their kids. Like I get why they're doing it, but I also wish there was like someone in Hollywood that can be like, yo, we don't have to do this for everything. You know, there could be just some where we're like, this stays the same. And I think Lion King could have been that one that we were like, bro, like, I don't think we're topping Mustafa falling from the rock. Like, don't fuck that up. And again, the movie wasn't bad, but like you said, like it's not the same emotion attached to it because one, you already know what's gonna happen, and then two, it's just like, bro, but the cartoon kind of hits a little better, like the way like the graphics were and blah blah blah. So yeah, but yeah, I did hear good reviews about Little Mermaid, so I'll definitely I'll probably peep that one though on like Disney Plus. I can't see myself going to the movie theaters for that one.
Nah, I don't think that's necessary.
Question for you though, man, as a man who just came back from traveling, how I obviously went to Moon's house to also enjoy the punching bag. How's the overall bounce back been for you as far as getting your body right, mind right, everything post the trip?
I feel like last week it was solid. I basically worked out every single day.
Nice.
I felt like my sleep schedule was decent. Still waking up at odd hours for like no reason, but I think now I'm finally back in the groove of things, but still trying to find that good balance of eating healthy and working out consistently. Because sometimes these little days like throw me off, like when we're going out and eating whatever and then drinking, and then I still have the weekend ahead of me, and I kind of want to relax, so I'm not super keen on eating super healthy. But then come Monday, Tuesday, I kind of get back into it. So I'm just trying to be consistent, which is really hard.
Yeah. I feel you, dude. Dude, the bounce back can be hard, especially when like there's so many. Again, it's summertime, bro. There's always something happening, right? Or you're gonna find an excuse to go outside. So that's why, again, dude, like when I told like you and other people about like me going sober for the summer, they're like, bro, now you're gonna choose fucking, you're gonna do this now? When we have like all these fucking events. So I was like, bro, but if I can do it now, I can do it whenever. You know what I mean? You know?
Right.
So, for me, dude, honestly, I think what's helped me is the just removing alcohol from the equation already makes me just move a little bit different about like what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna eat. And honestly, the eating has never been an issue for me, so that part hasn't been hard. I'm just glad that the time difference didn't fuck me up when I got back from Spain, that I was able to jump back into the routine of working out early as fuck. Because bro, like I would always work out 5 times a week. But dude, if I don't get a morning workout in and it's like a late workout, bro, like my day's shot. Like I'm just like, I didn't mention before the pod, like I'm just like a terrible person to be around, bro. Like I don't get into a good mood until like around 12 or 1. Like I'm sure that's how people feel like when they drink coffee, they don't have coffee. Like if I don't work out in the morning, like bro, like don't talk to me. My team is gonna be on do not disturb. Like unless it's a fucking 911, bro, this shit can wait. So again, which isn't fair to my colleagues. So like I do my very best just for my own well-being to get in the gym in the morning. So yeah, dude, the bounce back has been pretty good for me. I think I'm down like 7 pounds since Spain, which is nice. And then have like 10 pounds to go as far as just trying to like get in the right physique. But the gains are there, so I'm glad, because there was a stretch there that I was like, bro, did I just like hit that age where it just stops? You know what I mean? Like, like I won't get fat, but bro, you ain't going back to what it was. So I'm glad that wasn't the case. And yeah, dude, I mean, clearly alcohol is the biggest poison in my life. So we'll see how the rest of my body reacts over the next 2.5 months. But cool, man. Glad we're both back in the flow of things. Let's get this show on the road, episode 144. At the time of this recording, episode 143 will be up on all podcast platforms. Look out for that. But man, I figured there was a pretty slow news week. You had the bright idea of talking about more like in-depth things. So there was a recent article about how J. Cole features are one of the most valuable features currently as far as cost-wise in the industry. So yeah, let's just dive in deep into that. Like how when you see a J. Cole feature pop up on someone's album or release, like how excited do you get to now peep that song?
I'll be honest, at this point in time, not as excited as I used to be, just because I feel like now I pretty much know what to expect. And I don't think there's a whole lot going on within the world that's brand new to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm curious what J. Cole has to say about this. Like during the pandemic with George Floyd and whatever else, sure, I'm curious about what.
He didn't say shit though. That was the funny part.
Yeah.
That was like that was the one time he's like, I'm not talking.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it goes to what Kendrick said about, you know, them not being our saviors and stuff. Like we can't expect them to do something all the time. But I don't know. It got me thinking just with Dirk and everyone else. It seems like J. Cole's features are constantly flooding my timelines when it is a thing. And I feel like we've gotten to a point where that doesn't really happen with Drake as much as it used to in the past. And I think a lot of it just has to do with the fact that Drake is so present at all times. The feature aspect doesn't necessarily excite people as much as a sudden Drake album. Whereas with J. Cole, I mean, people still anticipate his album, of course, but I think people are really looking for some sort of enlightening or new message, and we don't really hear, or even just what's on his mind. We don't really hear from J. Cole on Twitter or Instagram or anything. So I think it kind of like just through the scarcity of it adds more value to his verse, kind of like Jay-Z, where you know they're not just giving anyone a verse, and if they are going to do it, there's a specific reason why.
Yeah, so that's a good theory about the masses. But back to you though. So you currently don't get that excited though if you see like a J. Cole feature pop up?
Not really, to be honest.
Yo, same though, bro. That's why I asked. Because I know, because like I know everyone. I don't know if everyone, but I know there was excitement about the Lil Durk song with J. Cole. Like, I'll be honest with you, bro. I've yet to listen to that song. Like, it didn't move me like, bro, you have to listen to this. Because I know for me, I think J. Cole has been more in the limelight these last 2 years, maybe like right after COVID. So I would say 2021, 2022, and so forth. I feel like he's been around. Like, he's been giving almost everyone a feature. So it's hard for me to put that much value in it because I'm like, bro, what are you going to say? You know what I mean? Like, we already heard everything you want to say. And like, I think like for me, like the last one I was even remotely excited about was the one about like London with Bia. And I was like, this is all right. You know what I mean? Because the overall song sucked, to be perfect, in my opinion. Like, his verse was fire. So now I'm like, bro, like, I don't want to hear a song where you're clearly the better lyricist. And then like, so what was the rest of that? Like the rest of the 2 minutes of the song, what was the point of that? You know what I mean? Like, it feels like almost like he always outshines whoever songs it is. So it almost like, and obviously the other person has more verses and the chorus. Then it's just like, then what's the point of this, bro? Like, it's just for you to show how great you are, and this other person is like an average rapper. Like, I don't know. That's like the gist of why I'm just like, like for me personally, like, I get why other artists would want him on their shit. But as a consumer, I'm just like, bro, like, I already know you're better than everyone you jump on a track with. Like, this isn't moving me.
Yeah, that's a great point. Kind of reminds me of, I think he was on a song with YG and a handful of other people. And it seems pointless to tune in to hear your 30 seconds, but then have, 2 minutes and a half left of the other artists, and you just outshine them. And sometimes I think like his verse doesn't even have anything to do with what the other person said. I'm like, so you just fucking came on here to stunt and disappear. And I don't know if like from a listener's perspective, if that really makes sense, or, it is something that I'm actually looking for.
Which is why I think, and this is just me like based off perception and like people talking about that album after the release, which is why I don't think the Dreamville record or album hit that hard. Because it was kind of that, you know what I mean? Like, he was only on 3 songs, and whenever he jumped on it, he was by far the best verse. And the rest of the song, you're like, okay, like, well, it's J. Cole song, so we're happy about it. So, yeah, man, I would say like 2 years ago, I would think he was the most valuable feature to get. But now, like, from a consumer standpoint, like, I wouldn't give him that award because it's not making me want to consume the song. Like, back in the day, if I heard J. Cole was going to be on your song, like, and they were promoting it, like the Young Thug and Travis Scott one, what's the one song about the hotel?
London?
At the London?
I think it was called London.
London as well? Okay, so that song.
Mm-hmm. This motherfucker loves London.
London, right? Like 4 songs in London.
The London, yeah.
The London, yeah. Dude, that song was a banger, bro. And but again, he was not peers, because that's blasphemy. But you know what I mean? Like, upper echelon rappers and artists and producers. So that song moved me to like, yo, I gotta go fucking listen to that song. But everything else, dog, I'm telling you, dude, like, I love J. Cole. But dude, him jumping on a song with Lil Durk did nothing for me, bro. Like, I was just like, why? Like, why would you do that? Like, this guy is beneath you in every fucking way. So yeah, I don't know if it has that same oomph. Whereas, again, you said Drake, so obviously like we'll bring it up. But like, for example, like Drake just came out with a song where he's featuring 2 British acts. Was it Jay Huss? Who Told You? Bro, I saw 3 people post that shit. I gotta listen to that shit right now. You know what I mean? Because again, I feel like Drake's only gonna jump on tracks with newer artists. That it's almost telling you like, bro, you need to jump on this bandwagon now before they blow up, right? So there's almost like more incentive to listen to the song. Like, J. Cole jumps on tracks with artists we know and we aren't impressed with. So like, if it's gonna be a J. Cole song with this guy feature on it, great, I'll peep. But if this is like this artist who I know is average and now you're on it, like, I don't really care that much.
Yeah. I think for me, though, another reason why I think J. Cole, even though I don't necessarily, or you don't necessarily care too much for his features, is he fairly recently was recruited to do a feature on a BTS member song. And I'm not a BTS fan, period. But the fact that someone that globally massive had J. Cole on their track made me think to myself, well, damn, J. Cole's a lot bigger globally than I would have expected. Obviously, I don't know what behind the scenes went down for them to select him and not Kendrick or some other random person. But I think right now, J. Cole's considered that, I don't know, godly, true hip hop verse to have that will bring you value.
I agree with that. Like the legitimacy from a feature from him probably gives you a stamp that most rappers aren't giving.
Yeah. And I think what you said is true from a Drake perspective. If you're looking for the new sound, then Drake is that guy who's probably behind the scenes doing that research. And for that reason, he's gonna, hop on that track and use that as his stamp of approval.
Yeah, facts, dude. Like I would go back to a bunch of artists, right? Think about Blueface. Like, I don't know. I wasn't checking for Blueface before.
You mean Young Blue?
Young Blue, I apologize.
I was about to say, I was like, did he do a song with Blueface?
No, there's no way, bro. There's no way. Yeah. Young Blue. Well, thank you for reading my mind. Young Blue. Like, I wasn't checking for Young Blue before that remix, you know what I mean? And like, Drake was even in the fucking video, but that song needed to come out to propel his motherfucker's career, right? So yeah. I think Drake has, from that, that's why I think Drake should be considered the most valuable feature, because again, you may already have your own buzz, but if you get that stamp from him, so many more eyes come. Whereas I think thus far, J. Cole kind of just already jumps on songs for people that we already know. And
right.
That we already know that aren't, I mean, again, yes, artists can improve and people can develop over time, but at some point, dude, Lil Durk is what Lil Durk is. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even think of another fucking feature he jumped on recently. But for the most part, these artists are already what we know them as. So like, for us to think we're gonna be blown away by a track that's featuring him, I think the last song that so a good example, like the 21 Savage and J. Cole song a lot, right? At that point, dude, we already loved 21 Savage, right? So it was just a nice stamp for us to get like confirmation from like a hip hop head, like, you should love this guy. You know what I mean? But like, when we're already on the fence for like Lil Durk, like, what do you rap about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you actually talking about? For you to get a J. Cole feature makes me feel like, all right, you're boys with his people and they made it work. Not like you actually are a rapper we should take serious.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, that's a really good point. He did it with Joyner Lucas, who claims that J. Cole doesn't, I guess, require payment. Charge. He just is boys with certain people who he believes in and does songs with them. And I think, even with Joyner, I was like, okay, J. Cole's on this song, so clearly Joyner must be doing something right to earn his appreciation. But I think people who fucked with lyricism and that kind of rap to begin with already made up their mind on Joyner, whether they liked him or not. I don't know if that feature did much in the sense of saying, okay, now I'm going to listen to him. Whereas Drake might be a different story, because I think Drake is a bit more versatile. I think J. Cole's the guy Drake's the cheat code, but I think J. Cole's the guy you go to if you have a message and you just want that more conscious, like,
bring that audience
market to tune in for that song.
Yeah, I agree with that. Or if you just want people to take you seriously.
Yeah.
I agree with the BTS thing, right? Like, if they're looking for either their fans in Korea or Asia, like, yo, like, we have the best rapper in America on this track, you should really take it serious what we're doing, and then also the messaging to Americans. That song already come out, by the way?
Yeah, it came out a couple months ago.
Okay.
And the dude's a pretty good rapper as well, but I'm thinking that the whole time, if he got J. Cole on the track, then I don't know shit about this other guy's music, but clearly he must be a pretty good rapper if he recruited someone that massive to rap alongside him.
Yeah, dude, I would think the same thing. Yeah, for sure. So just staying on the topic of features, though, who do you think in like the history of hip hop was like the most in-demand feature? Like, when you saw his name or her name, to be fair, on a track, you were like, I gotta fucking listen to this song. As the feature though, as the feature.
Like personally, who was that?
Yeah, like whatever you saw, like who was the artist that every time you saw them like featured on a track, that shit actually moved you to consume it immediately?
I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say Drake. I think that name pops up. And for the longest time, he's just killed every feature for the most part. I'd say it's dwindled recently just because, I mean, we've been consuming Drake for the past we've been consuming his shit for the past like 15 years it feels like now.
Yeah, and I would say in the last 2.5 years we've had a increased amount of Drake content overall.
Right. So in the initial stages it was like, okay, let me see what he's gonna do next, and then he's competing with people who've been around, longer than him or have like a new sound, and he's kind of mimicking it and doing this chameleon thing but still being himself. So Drake was always like the most exciting feature for me, whereas up until this point, I won't say I'm over it, but it's just not quite as strong as before. But that's the name that comes to mind.
Nice. And I agree with that. Again, I won't bring him up again because again, I think he's a cheat code and has been for the last 10 years. Dude, for me, man, I went back and forth for a couple of people. I thought 50 Cent when he first came, not when he dropped Get Rich or Die Trying, like that run right before and right after. I felt like whenever he jumped on a track, like I was excited. I was like, bro, I gotta download the Hot 97 mixtape. I gotta go buy the bootleg. There was that's how fucking long ago this was. To get this shit. But I honestly, dude, I'm gonna say Lil Wayne. I feel like Wayne's run before Carter 3 and then the 2 years after Carter 3, if Lil Wayne was on your track, the shit was gonna be better. Like I would go, that goes across different genres. I still remember when he spazzed on that Soldier song with Destiny Child and T.I. Yeah, bro, to everything. Anything that motherfucker was featured on, he'd fucking eat up, bro. Barry Bonds with Kanye, Mr. Carter, dude, everything, bro. The song where they sample MIA's paper, was it Swag? Like Swagger on them? Whatever. That song with him, Kanye, T.I., and maybe there's one more person, but maybe there's 3 of them. But yeah, dude, I don't know. There was a run there for 3 years that I think Lil Wayne was the only feature that made me like, yo, I gotta fucking hear what this guy's saying because he's like out of his mind right now. And I didn't give a fuck who the song was because I feel like there was a stretch that he was also doing songs with anyone who was cutting the check. Right? I do think J. Cole and Drake are a little bit more selective with their approach, but yeah, I think Lil Wayne from 06 to 09 was just in a different stratosphere when it came to if he was featured on your song, everyone was tuning in.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And it also made me think, now that I think about it, I mean, Pharrell, he's a producer, so I can't say I necessarily, there were a lot of instances where he was a feature himself as an artist, but I remember for a long period of time, once I saw that the Neptunes or he had a hand in producing it, then I was like, I need to hear how this sounds, because just like a lot of other producers, he kind of brings a new side out of a lot of rappers, like someone like The Game, for instance, who is on Dr. Dre beats 99% of the time. To see Pharrell's name pop up, I'm like, oh shit, what is he gonna do with
it's artist? Intriguing. So I agree with that.
One also comes to mind.
Production, maybe more production wise, because there was times where Pharrell will rap and I'm just like, bro, I know you're only rapping because you made this beat and you forced it to There's no way they were like, yeah, give us 16, bro. We can't wait. Fast. Those are good answers. All right, keeping in the realm then of just artists from the past and today, do you think there's any rappers who were super successful back in the day? And we'll put back in the day pre-social media era. So pre-2012, where this shit really blew up?
Pre-2012, yeah.
Pre-2012. So going back from the 90s to 2012, pretty much our lifetime up until that moment. Do you think there's any major artists from back in the day who would not be successful in today's version of the way hip hop is consumed?
Yeah, I mean, there definitely are. I'd say someone who comes to mind. That's a tough one, but
think about the names. It's Jay-Z, it's Nas, it's Cameron, it's E40, it's Dr. Dre, it's Snoop, it's 50. Right, those are the big heavyweights from that. Tupac, Biggie,
yeah,
Big L, Big Pun.
I think it's tricky because all of those names, like, they're just so different from a lot of the childish shit we see nowadays. I feel like they're so mature, but I mean, someone like Jay-Z, I think he's too like business savvy to not have figured out a sort of path for himself. And I think he's kind of proven that with his career trajectory. You know, maybe he wouldn't be at quite as rich, but I think kind of like a Nipsey, he would have found his lane.
That's great. That's a great like anchor to like remind. That's a great name to bring, because because you can get in your head like, oh man, I don't know, man, Jay-Z might be too lyrical, but then like, you think of like a Nipsey, it's like, yeah, dude, but he made it work, and like clearly Jay-Z's a way better rapper than, obviously, rest in peace, than Nipsey ever was. So yeah, you would think someone like that would have to be successful, bro, or like you would just hate the era you're in, like, bro, if that's not successful, then we all suck. What are we allowing?
Yeah, but someone like Cameron, I don't see being quite as big. I think he would be more niche, kind of like the Griselda camp. Or like if you just clinging onto, quintessential New York hip hop, you'd rock with him. But I don't think he would be like the kind of legend he is nowadays. He's just so New York and street.
Dude, he's
and
a
I
cult
don't think
hero.
people are checking for that.
Yeah, there's no. I don't see him becoming a cult hero in today's world. Like, I think it's just, dude, the way we consume music, man, is just so different, right? Like, you're trying to think about like which one of these guys will have like a TikTok hit that will go viral and they'll be around, to the next one. Like, I don't know, man. Like, again, the only thing I would give to Dipset and that era is that it was very comical, right? So I could see them like being like a hit on TikTok, right? Because I think they're very animated, that you would like want to see their skits or whatever bullshit they post in between the content of music. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I just feel like they're very, not artistic, but like, like it's comedy, bro, like for them as well. So I think they could survive a little bit. That's the only argument I would give for them to survive. Because I don't see how like a Jim Jones, dude, the fact that Jim Jones even had a rap career back then was wild, because my man can't rap. So there's no fucking way that's gonna. I guarantee that will not work in today's. They just wouldn't allow it, bro. Like, So who else? I mean, I think this might be a low hanging fruit. I'm gonna say at first an artist who I don't think would be successful, more so would not be able to rise to the heights that he did back then in today's current hip hop environment. And I'm gonna say Nas. I know 21 Savage said that like 4 or 5 months ago. We kind of echoed that same sentiments. Again, Nas has put out music the last 3 years that proves that he has quality music still available, right? But is that shit popular, right? It's not. Right, so I don't think that Nas from back in the day, who gave us classics and is in the Hall of Fame for everything, and he deserves it. I don't think there'll be enough people, like the people who consume that shit then are so old now. Like, that shit is so niche, bro. That I can't see him like rise into the heights of like, all right, bro, you're like the top 2 people out right now. Like, I just don't think it would happen, man. Again, that shit is so lyrical and so specific. And again, yes, the production's gotten better with Hit Boy, thank God. But even with that, dude, even with the production with Hit Boy, that shit was really only consumed by his day one 70,000 to 100,000 fans who like will never let this shit flop. You know what I mean? Yeah. But this shit's not on like anything else. So I do think like it'd be hard for him to translate to a modern day hip hop star. Yeah, no, I agree. And I'd say, with exception to like Jay-Z, I would go as far to say is anyone who follows that like
East Coast lyrical formula, whether it's Cassidy, Fabulous. I think they'd all have a super tough time. And say what you want about Dave East, but I feel like his style is very similar to those guys, and he's not. His career
point.
hasn't gotten. I don't think he has any hits on the radio, or has any hits on the radio, or top selling projects or albums, and he's above average when it comes to, like, if we're talking lyricism. So
yeah,
if he's having trouble gaining traction, then I don't see a lot of these other guys being able to do the same thing, or being able to do better.
I agree. I do think Biggie and Pac would translate. I think Biggie's flow creation is just so exciting that I can see a lot of people just being engaged by that. I think Pac was, who's a similar comparison? There's almost like no comparison right now, bro, which is why I think, like, dude, he was a bigger than human persona. So, like, with the acting, with the poetry, like, I can just imagine this guy on social media now, like 28, just being so involved with so many other things, like almost like a Tyler Creator. Like, you're just intrigued by this human being that, like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking listen if you put music out, and if you put a movie, I'm gonna go watch your movies. And if you come out with fucking bandanas, I'm gonna go buy your bandanas, right? I feel like he is someone that you can fall in love with, the person that you'll consume whatever the fuck they put out.
No, I definitely agree with that. He seems like someone who would have a big enough personality to thrive in this era. And I feel like similarly with 50 Cent even.
Yeah, there's just something. There's just like an untangible thing that is just like so crazy, like still tangible, right? There's just something there. Like, this guy's a star, and he's gonna figure out a way to be successful. Again, I think if 50 came out in modern day, he would figure out a way to be the best hook writer compared to everyone else, bro, because that's just what he was, dude. Like, if you really think about 50 Cent's run, that was, like, again, I feel like only rivaled by, like, two other people, for being completely fucking fair. Like, it's Wayne and Drake, because Jay-Z was a slow burn to the top, bro. Like, we can say that Reasonable Doubt was the greatest album of all time, and I think it's, like, top 5 albums of all time, but his next album's flopped, The Streets Is Watching, and then it took a while for people to really come around on Hard Knock Life. Like, he wasn't just like a quick rise to the top thing. Whereas, dude, like 50 Cent's run, like 5 years, was like, this guy wrote the best hooks in the industry, and it wasn't even fucking close. Like, dude, like, we spoke once before, when he would jump on, like, when he would like make a new song to like your song's beat, bro, people liked his version better. Because usually people just do a freestyle and move on. This guy recreates the whole song, adds a new hook, and you're like, bro, this is so much better. So I think he would find a way, again, just to be the best hook writer in the industry, regardless of his overall lyricism on a track. And people would just be so like, oh, this guy's so clever and funny, and he wants to fight everyone, and everyone else is a bitch. Like, yeah, dude, I think he would survive. And obviously, again, in that same breath, I would say Kanye, bro. I think Kanye would survive in this current music platform. Like, I don't know about the world, because again, he's showing us that he's a little bit too crazy. But in music, because again, he's just so creative, bro. Like, creative people are, that's what I would say. I would say the overwhelming thought on this entire topic is that the more creative you are lyrically and talent-wise, you're gonna prevail in a very heavy way. Whereas if you're just very lyrical, I don't see how people will be engaged when there's just too many other things to distract you right now.
For sure. And if you kind of rely on nostalgia to have a career, like let's say you're, I don't know, too short or something. I think when you fall into that category, chances are, you know, maybe you would still thrive and survive, but only like in your local area, or at best within the, you know, the country. But you're not going to be a global, you know, cult legend or whatever that we've alluded to for Cameron and those kinds of guys.
Yeah, I agree, dude. Because again, E40 was niche back then, bro. Imagine what he'd be now. Like, literally, like a small ass pocket of like, there's. I don't see that one switching over. Again, the Dre's, the normal names, but yeah, I think there are enough big names in hip hop that we're just like, love you guys to death, but there's just, again, and it's not their fault. I just think, again, if we're just simply we're going to put 25-year-old Biggie Smalls in as a 25-year-old in 2023, I think he'll survive. And if I put 24-year-old Nas, I think he'd be a rapper and he'd still make a living off it, but I don't think he would reach the heights, which again, it's just he reached insane heights, bro. But I don't think people are looking for that right now. Like, if this motherfucker doesn't have a drill beat behind his song, people are like, bro, what is this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even like Lupe, he's kind of an interesting one because I think he's one of the more creative lyricists. Like he has, kind of quirky concepts and stuff that people like Nas and stuff probably would never even think of creating. But at the same time, only his core fan base really listens or looks out for that stuff right now. And I don't know if he has a shit ton of hits compared to Nas and all these other guys, which he's very vocal about and I think is dope. But I don't know if those mainstream hits would hold up in this era.
Yeah, and dude,
do you think Superstar and stuff would
I think Superstar, I think Kick Push would. There's probably like 3 more that we're not even thinking about that I think would. Because he does have, he has bangers. He does have bangers. But I think the other part to this is like, bro, the barriers to entry in this current industry are just non-existent, bro. So it's like, what can you do to stand the fuck out you're just amongst so many other fish? Like, how are you gonna really pop the fuck out? Whereas like back then, dude, the barriers are so crazy that, bro, if you got put on, not that like you had to be this crazy rapper, because again, Nas and these people are phenomenal, but bro, it's almost like you're too big to fail now. Like, bro, we already invested all this money to get you here, bro. We guarantee you're gonna be a star because we need this return on investment. You know what I mean? Whereas like now, it's like, bro, we'll throw you a couple $100,000. If you can't figure that out, you're on your own. Good luck to you. You know what I mean? So I just think the barriers to entry are so low right now, or non-existent. Like, it takes a real star to like just shine amongst everything else going on right now.
For sure. No, I definitely agree with that. And I think the thing is too, even though the barrier is incredibly low, a lot of those guys who put out quality, it seems like they rarely become the big star, but they kind of behind the scenes are constantly good, making money, doing other things, whether that's like Currency or Action Bronson or those kinds of guys. Like, it seems like they have they find other hustles, but even their music, they still have that dedicated, 50,000, 100,000 people, whatever, that are going to show up to every show. Whereas the kid on TikTok who has 1 billion views on his new song might be the hottest shit for like a year, but when they're gone, when their fans are gone, they're gone like forever.
Yes.
Because they were never there.
They were never there, bro. And I think shout out to Brilliant Idiots. I think I heard this. Andrew Schultz has said this all the time, dude. I think you would, in the comparison you made, you would always want to be the Action Bronson in that situation, because your fans will figure out a way to go to your shows, right? They're going to call a babysitter. They're going to figure out a way. Whereas like if you're just that guy on TikTok that no one really knows, because like you just became famous like overnight, right? We don't have an investment in you. We haven't seen you struggle. You just like out of nowhere have a hit. Yeah, I want to listen to that song all the time and I'll make it my background song to my Insta story, but I'm not going to get out of my fucking house and go see you because you're in town now. You know what I mean? So like off the bat, it's just like a different era, bro. Like, whereas back in the day, like you were invested in these people. So yeah, it's just very interesting, man. It's just a completely different time. But I do think some artists were just so different and unique and talented that they are like eraless. Like you could pop them in whatever era and they're gonna figure out a way to thrive.
For sure.
And I feel like you also have to give like credit to the consumer, right? I feel like consumers will realize that, this is very unique and we need to cherish this, as opposed to saying, well, this is too lyrical or this is too like poppy. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like listeners will also like appreciate, this is very unique and we have to like, take this all in for what it's worth. So I think I think it works both ways.
Yeah. And we just talked about it like with J. Cole, for instance. I think even more so now, people are probably willing to vilify and treat you like shit if you say anything bad about J. Cole. Like, oh, you don't even know what good music is. Whereas when J. Cole first came out, it was just like, okay, he's this cool, conscious dude. And now people are like, protect him at all costs. Like he has the answers to everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that, dude. Because at some point, the younger rappers got a little bit older and he became like almost like their, like if your godfather wasn't Drake, he was the other godfather, like in a weird way. So no, that's a great point, man. Cool. Well, let us know who you think is an artist that would or will not make it if they were planted in today's industry from like back in the 90s and early 2000s. All right, before we get out of here, last topic. Do you want to do Tyler or potential features for Utopia we want to see?
I think we could do Tyler. I think it's the most on topic with everything so far.
Okay, cool. So Tyler was on Rap Radar. Those guys have some fucking, I think we're the best, but I would say like we're maybe close second to them because like, every time because they only get the biggest fucking names, bro. So like every time they have an interview, I'm just like, Jesus, bro. Like, how do you guys do this, man? So like, I gotta watch the full thing, but the clips were pretty cool. Tyler got super, I guess more behind the scenes and like, a deep dive into his personal life. He made it very clear, like, he doesn't appreciate when fans just run up on him and just like have their phones out, stuff like that. So again, that's just a side of him you wouldn't get just from the music. But he did have this thing that is going pretty viral that he says that the idea of having a top 5 is corny. And it's really just more based off like what the artist or songs or whatever you're ranking has like the emotional connection to you. So your thoughts on that conversation?
I do like that he said that. I will be honest, at times, depending on who's asked me, I felt pressure to say I like certain artists or albums. I know you just mentioned Reasonable Doubt. 100%. And it's funny that you mentioned Reasonable Doubt earlier because I vividly remember, I don't know why this girl asked me this, but I was purchasing something in college, like a bagel, and the cashier, we were having a conversation about rap and she's like quizzing me on Jay-Z and like which is his best album and stuff. She said Reasonable Doubt. I think
I have a Jay-Z shirt on. Like, how did this even come about?
Honestly, I don't remember. I think we were making small talk. Maybe I was telling her I made music or something. I don't know, but
I'm like, okay, where's my cream cheese? I want to leave.
I know. I'm thinking about it right now. Like, yo, I just bought a fucking bagel. Why are we debating top 5s right now? But I remember she was like, do you know what Jay-Z's best album like objectively is, or something on all those lines? And I think I blurted out like Blueprint, but she's like, no, Reasonable Doubt. And it got me thinking, like, how is that objective though? What if I don't like this shit as much as the other one? So, but I know Reasonable Doubt's the quote unquote right answer. So when I heard Tyler say this, I kind of resonated with it and agree that I think a lot of people out there feel compelled to say, what's the Biggie album? Ready to Die, I think.
Ready to Die,
yeah. Ready to Die, Reasonable Doubt, and Illmatic, and all these other albums are the quote unquote best ones to select or the best artists to select. And I think people should feel empowered to say who they really think the top 5 are, but then again, I don't know if it makes any sense, because at the end of the day, it's going to be the artists that you listen to, and everyone listens to completely different artists for the most part. So it's like, why even have this debate?
Dude, 100%, dude. I remember when we first started the pod doing interviews, like that was like the question we asked everyone we interview, right? Just to get like their take. But dude, 100%, man. That's why I think my top 5 artists in hip hop is like always not ridiculed by like my boys or whatever, but like I think I give some of that, right? Because like I say Tupac and Biggie because I feel like I'll be honest, because I feel like I have to. Like that's just almost like you just like, who's your top 5? Like you gotta like, you're really just saying who are my top 3, because you're already telling me if I want to be respected by you, I have to say Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah.
But if I'm being truthful, like almost what Tyler said, bro, when Biggie got killed, I was 8 years old. When Pac got killed, I was, 7 or 8 years old. Same shit. Like, bro, like, again, like, yes, I was aware of them. My brothers, especially Pac, bro. I don't know why, but for everyone, my brothers on the East Coast like love Tupac more than anything. So dude, I listened to all those albums, like bro, like Dear Mama like hit me very hard back then, let alone now. Like this shit meant a lot, but like honestly, probably like Biggie's definitely not actually in my top 5, and I think Pac would be, but he might be 5 or some shit. You know what I mean? So like the only one that I'm always very matter of fact with because of shit like was Mac Miller, and I'm like, bro, he's in my top 5. Like, I make that one very clear, right? Whereas everyone else is like, yeah, like, you can get why Drake and Kanye and Jay are like, yeah, so I agree with you, man. There's always this pressure to, like, almost appease the person asking you that question, right? Like, oh, like, yeah, because if I don't say Tupac, you're going to fucking kill me because, you know, God, right. Tupac is the greatest that ever happened to hip-hop. But it's like, you only rapped for, like, 4 years, bro. So, like, there's no way. Like, I know he's one of the best, but, like, he's not one of my best, bro, because at the time that shit came out, that I was a child, bro. And then again, like that sound, although great, was so unique for the time. So like it's hard for that song to those songs to still resonate with a 34-year-old in 2023. Whereas, funny you say this because I was listening to a bunch of old shit over the weekend. Bro, I was listening to the Joint album, but with separate albums by Outkast, the Love Below and the Speaker Box. So like, dude, there's like multiple songs. Like there's a song called Unhappy, where is Andre 3000 on the hook and Big Boy rapping. Bro, timeless, bro. Like that shit is fucking timeless, right? So you can hear that shit this year and be like, bro, what a fucking great song. Who put this out? Whereas I truly think more Pac than Biggie. I think Biggie's flow was just so like, dude, it's almost like he could go a cappella and it's fine because like his flow just has like a rhythm to it. But like Pac's music was so specific for that gangster era that like, bro, you hear that shit now, you're like, why is he so mad, bro? Like what is there so to be so mad about? So I know, but I agree with you 100%, bro. There's such a pressure to say certain artists or certain albums because you don't want to be shunned from like other people.
Or you even feel guilty about saying someone like Drake because you feel like that kind of discredits you and oh, you just chose the easy commercial answer, or you only like his last club hit and that's why you said it. And that's
or how long you been a hip-hop fan?
Right,
like,
exactly.
Bro, like, who gives a fuck?
Right. And I think, at least for me, if there is any objective way to do it, I feel like you really have to pay attention to who's inspiring other greats and changing the sound. Because like, for instance, Eminem, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really listen to his music at all, but every
now though or
rapper now, I mean, I listened to it like way back when he was on the 50 Cent, like 2003 and shit, like
yeah, dude, because I would say I'm gonna keep going, but I'm gonna say the exact album I'm thinking about. There was a Eminem run that motherfucker could do no wrong. Oh bro, the Eminem show, like that run, because Eminem show came out in, I got it right here, one second. The Eminem show came out in 2002. So I would say it's 2002 to 2004. That motherfucker could do no wrong, bro. Like, and that shit felt lyrical to a 12-year-old version of me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, he was fire, but I think a lot of people say he can't be one of the best because he's white and all kinds of, or like his music's just about, kidnapping your girlfriend and all kinds of shit. But I think it's undeniable that, for one, pretty much every single white artist is like, Eminem influenced me or like gave me the courage to rap and shit. And then I've heard plenty of black artists say he influenced them. And how many times do you hear artists that basically have the same cadence or do kind of the same weird, interesting shit, whether it's Tyler, Joyner Lucas sounds like Eminem on a lot of songs. So if one person is influencing the entire culture, whether or not you like them, you kind of have to be like, well, they're one of the greatest, because that's really difficult to do. Everyone's basically Lil Wayne and Drake's son nowadays with the auto-tune melodic stuff. So I think people are just kind of too living inside their own world, and they're thinking like, I went to prom and I remember this artist and he got me some pussy. So like, he's one of the greats, because I just think about that one moment.
Yeah, but everyone's doing that, what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I think everyone's thinking about their specific, like, man, I used to smoke weed with my friends in the forest and we listened to Outkast or whatever, and just they lean on those nostalgic moments to determine who's the best.
Yeah, dude. It's almost like the what we were saying earlier about like, oh, what's on our timeline, right? Like it's almost like everyone just influenced what was like in their specific timeline, and like that's all they think about. Not realizing that there's all the other timelines that are popping with people you don't even know who the fuck are. And like that person has every right to think that like their artist is in the top 5, right? So yeah, but it's probably, we have to start asking that question differently, right? Like top 5 in what, bro? Like top 5 in me, top 5 in influence. And then you have to have stats behind it, bro, because otherwise it's so like subjective, man. Like that person you bought a bagel, bro. Like, what do you mean objectively, bro? Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, I like Blueprint 3, bro. Like, sue me, bro. It has a fucking Kid Cudi feature that I fucking love. Like, what do you want from me, bro? Like,
yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, they just need to be more specific with that super vague ass question that apparently only has one right answer according to.
Yeah, but dude, I'm glad you brought that up, bro. Yeah, because like I'm telling you, man, I've always felt the pressure to say Pac and Biggie, and like in my heart to heart, I'm like, bro, like, I can't even like recite like a full Biggie song like from beginning to end, right? And like it's more Tupac, yes, but like it's like I'm playing that shit now, bro. Like dude, I can't. When was the last time I played a Tupac and Biggie song? I feel like if you're in my top 5, I'm playing your shit nonstop, bro. Like I find an excuse to play Mac Miller shit today, you know, and like songs from like 2016, not even like his new shit, you know what I mean? So I just feel like if someone's not really in your rotation, like you should question, like, are they really your top 5 artists? Or are you just feeling pressure to say that shit? Like kind of what I appreciate Tyler, exactly. Like, you know, alluding to that in the interview.
For sure. Yeah, it is, it's almost like your taste in fashion. People love to judge you on what your top 5 is. And if you don't say you like, you know, Gucci and Louis and Supreme, then you're a fucking lame.
You're a lame, bro. Anything. I'm sorry. I was talking to someone who's broke. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, dude. Yeah, that's a great one, dude. Yeah. So let us know your top 5 in influence, or give us the top 5 topic you guys want us to discuss, and we'll bring it up on the next pod. All right, man. Before we get out of here, what is a song or an album for Heat of the Week, episode 144, that you want to bring up to the people?
Yeah, so the new song I think I've been playing the most recently was the one I sent you by Anders called Not Impressed. I would say it's like an R&B trap track. There's a lot of music that sounds similar to it out, but he's an artist I've been following for several years now, based out of Canada. He's one of those guys that I'm constantly checking for new music, and he doesn't drop as frequently as other people, so I'm always excited when he does drop. And yeah, I just think it's a banger, and I'm hoping that he continues to put out music, because I think he's super
it a single
talented.
Or was it part of an album?
So there's another dude listed named I think Dimmy. Yeah. It appears to be just a single, but I know he's done a couple songs with this, I guess, producer before, so not too sure what this means. He's kind of a mysterious figure, so I don't know if there's an album coming or what, but overall I love the sound of it, and yeah, it's just a super dope, hard-hitting track. I don't know if you noticed from this song or any of the other previous Heat of the Weeks, but he sounds eerily similar to The Weeknd, which is interesting.
I didn't pick up on that. I'll peep again tonight and see if I hear it.
Yep.
Because I didn't really pick up on that.
Yeah.
But I also feel like The Weeknd has like different voices for certain tracks. I feel like he's always in character mode, so it's like always I know there's a Weeknd sound, but sometimes I feel like from track to track I'm getting like a different version of him.
Yeah. And The Weeknd is someone who's speaking of like top 5, I've noticed maybe more so out of Canada, he's kind of the reference for what an R&B artist should sound like. And I've heard a lot of R&B artists kind of mimic his cadence and, you know, vocals similar to Post Malone. I'm hearing a lot of like coincidentally white, I I guess pop or R&B artists kind of mimicking, the vibrating like vocal, the yodeling thing. Like I've heard a lot of artists like Kid Laroi and others kind of do that too.
Oh, Kid Laroi, he should fucking be giving like 50% of his fucking check every time to fucking Post Malone, bro. 100%, bro. Also that other guy, Charlie
on a Friday, yep.
Bro, Charlie on a Friday should get, half your check to Post Malone because, dude, it's not even like, there's one thing to be like, mimicking, not even making like slightly your cadence like to it, but bro, these things just sound like, this is a Post Malone song, AI generated with my voice. You know what I mean? It just like, because this shit is like too like identical, but still very good artist nonetheless. But nice, that's a good one. Added to the Heat of the Week playlist for sure. Dude, for me, and that's why I asked you if it's an album or not. So for me, I was very surprised that Dave and Central C came out with a joint EP. I thought they just dropped the one song, but I guess I get why they put that one song out first. It's a fucking banger. So my Heat of the Week is Sprinter by Dave and Central C. Bro, I played this fucking song at least 10 times in a row at the gym the other day. Bro, I was like, run it back, man. Like, nice. It's like, I think all 4 songs of the EP are fire. If I had to pick a second song that I like the most, it was UK Rap. But yeah, Sprinter is fire, man. Especially if you're someone who's aware of pop culture, soccer references in Europe, there's so many one-liners that it's just like a dope thing. Cause like your local, your local rap artist in America doesn't talk about certain things that even though you may consume a lot. That's why when, I don't know if you pick up on it. So there's a song on Her Loss, 21 and Drake, that it's about, Circo Loco, the one that they sampled, the Daft Punk beat. So 21 Savage has a line about Arsenal winning the Premier League, right? So that line went crazy online because like, oh my God, the American artist is talking about soccer. Yeah. But dude, I follow this shit, dude. So like, I never hear these references at all. So it was cool just on a song to like hear different pop culture references and it hit home. But either way though, dude, I really enjoyed, Dave has been fire, I know, for years. It's nice to see that Central C wasn't just a TikTok wonder, because that's what I thought he was going to be. Same. Like, you put me on to more freestyles. I'm like, oh, this is impressive. But then hearing like multiple songs now from him, it seems that he actually may be that next guy that may cross over or just become bigger over there. But it's nice to see that, it wasn't just this little TikTok, let me get a hype thing and then I'm going to disappear with my money. So that was really cool to see. So yeah, dude, very good song. Love what they're rapping about. And the fact that they're both 25 years old, I'm just like, Jesus.
Yeah, I know. Christ, the more and more I learn these motherfuckers' ages, the more I'm like, I can't go to sleep early tonight. I got to stay up and find a hustle or something.
Yo, dude, man, facts, dude. Like, I hate everything about grime culture and like all these things. Like, what do you mean you don't have 35 streams of income by your 35th birthday? But it's like, bro, like, chill. Like, I'm fine. Like, I'm happy right now. But then, yeah, dude, so they're both 25. Dude, Dave has been famous in England since I think he was like 18, 19 years old. And like, cause he's already considered like, dude, like almost like a GOAT figure over there, bro. Like if he hops on your track, it's almost like essentially like our earlier thing about J. Cole and Drake, like you're just getting more eyes on you because of Dave. So the fact that he's only 25 is insane to me, dog. Like it's just wild that some of these dudes, at such an early age, like figure it out, right? I mean, we're talking about like Tupac and Biggie, like, bro, these guys died before seeing the age of 27, 28. So like, and they're just fucking goats. It's so insane to me that these things happen at such an early age for people. So kudos to him, bro, because again, he's killing it. So if you haven't peeped that yet, go peep it out on the Apple and Spotify Heat of the Week playlist. Sprinter by Dave and Central C. And then
so is this
Not Impressed
considered this genre? Is it considered UK grime or is it UK drill, even though the subject matter is different? The reason why I was asking, because I know we both kind of said we're over the whole drill scene, but I know the beats and I know the drill song beats are derivative of it, but the subject matter. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I'm over in the New York drill scene because I'm like, you motherfuckers all sound the same. So I'm gonna lean toward this not being drill, because at no point did I think all the songs sounded the same. Right. If that makes sense, right? It wasn't the typical trap beats and like the thing that, like Because I feel like there's like I go through a 504 an album, I'm like, bro, this is all the same. Like this is one big song. Whereas with this, I never got that feel from it. But I could be the crazy one.
Yeah. And to what we were talking about earlier, I mean, granted, I did hear one song from Central C that wasn't the Doja Cat one that piqued my interest, but
you did like, right? Yeah.
That I did like, but what I guess persuaded me to look more into his music was seeing his cameo in that Drake video. Forget the name, and I think that cosign, told me like, okay, this guy has something special going on. Let me peep his other stuff, because Drake wouldn't just have some because the song's viral, he's not gonna have you in his video. No, dude, because he can see, dude. If you think you and I can peep through the bullshit, bro, he can peep through the bullshit. Like he can be fully aware of like, bro, you're not the guy. So yeah, no, I think Central C blown his way up, and every time I see a random freestyle, like it's very impressive. So according to Apple Music, Dave and Central C are considered UK grime. So hip hop grime. So got it.
Whatever genre that is in the UK. But so I don't think it's considered UK drill.
Okay.
I think UK drill is more like gigs.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Because grime is like, I'm even thinking of Craig David. It has like similar beat pattern. I don't even know how to describe it like in a
because there's a song here. Like I think the song Our 25th Birthday, like that was too melodic for that to be ever considered like a drill genre. You know what I mean? Like so that's why I would lean towards grime, almost like hint of R&B.
Yeah. It's crazy how long it takes for like shit that like this to become mainstream or popular. Because like Craig David, for instance, I mean, I think he's an exception because he was super popular in the US too. But like a lot of that music was I feel like every person I know in the US, like he was the UK artist that like was popular. Okay, because
they only take one in at a time. No, I was only asking that because when he was at his peak, like I was in India, right? And he was famous as fuck there, but like India does whatever the UK does. You know what I mean? Like they embrace that shit from day one. So I just thought he was like a UK guy who I knew globally, but because I was in a country that was very influenced by British culture. So I didn't realize he was actually big in America. No, yeah, he was huge in America and pretty much the only person I think like anyone knew from the UK or any reference to the UK. But now a lot of that music is mainstream, like on a wider scale. Which is great though, man, because I feel like other people said this before, but I also appreciate these UK artists who are just like, dude, because even Craig David, right? Like you only knew he was British if you heard a fucking interview because he sung like an American. You know what I mean? Whereas I appreciate these other rappers coming out now, and even R&B singers from the UK that you can tell they're British, bro. Like, don't hide that shit. Whereas I feel like in the past, like, it was like, yo, we gotta fucking hide that accent so people can like accept us more globally. And it's like, bro, but then you just sound like everyone else, and we already have that. You know what I mean? So I'm glad in the last like eight-ish years that it's more like, yo, be who you are, and if it's good, we'll embrace it. And if it's not good, then at least your people already embrace you. So who gives a fuck? I mean, do you think the obviously Central C and whoever else will be fine, but do you think I still notice like, Americans mocking the accent and calling them soft and making jokes and stuff. Do you think that kind of puts a ceiling on their potential to be like mega stars within the US specifically? I don't know. Okay, you're thinking about like when 21 Savage about to get deported and they had like crumpets and like on the tables. I mean, I know that a lot of that's like trolling, but I still see some people say like they just can't take the accent seriously. Yeah, I mean, dude, my thing is that's fair, but I just think that these dudes are becoming bigger than the hip hop artists in the States, right? Like Skepta is bigger than maybe every American rapper except like 5. You know what I mean? Like these dudes are massive worldwide. So I do think that it's almost like, dude, it's almost like it's better for like a Drake when they're able to hop on his shit because it's like Drake's getting a dope cosign from over there, right? So I think if like US fans keep seeing these guys on their favorite rappers' tracks or vice versa, it's only a matter of time that you're gonna be like, bro, this is what's popular. I need to fucking jump on this bandwagon.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because I feel like Europe especially seems to be bigger consumers of a lot of our artists than we are ourselves. Like The Game, for instance, I think is still doing shows out in Sweden and shit, and probably making way more money than he's making out here.
Well, yeah, but I think that's more so like, dude, because apparently 6ix9ine is still on fucking tour here.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, that would never happen here. But I just think it's also that I don't know if it's nostalgia or just the idea that an American artist is in your town, you have to go peep it, right? Because that happens a lot too. Like I remember growing up in India, like if an American movie of an actor just was in an Indian film, bro, that movie did amazingly well. But keep in mind that was like a D-list actor in America, right? So it's like they go over there just with the hype of being an American, and like they become like almost again like a cult hero, to keep using that fucking phrase, but it's like what it is, right? So I think it's the same thing with like hip hop artists when they travel. It's like they get a great promoter, they're able to promote the shit out of it. They like, hey, you want to see the biggest thing that ever happened to hip hop back in 2003? And then dude, these shows are sold the fuck out, bro, because dude, I remember like, I think I told you a story when I went to see DJ Who Kid on my 18th birthday party. Yes, Who Kid was still like popular in America, but dude, he's not selling out a fucking like semi-arena. And like, bro, in India, he was like selling out crazy shows. And I'm like, how, bro? Like, you know what I mean? I think there's just something very nostalgic or like exciting about foreigners seeing our artists over there. Whereas like, we always think we're the best, the biggest, that we don't give a fuck about anyone else unless one of the people we fuck with says, yo, we actually fuck with them too.
True. And I'm sure that it takes a while for them to catch on to who the new cool artist is in the US. So by the time fucking, I don't know who's hot nowadays. Maybe Jack Harlow's not the best example, but someone who's a budding artist here probably hasn't caught on over there yet. So that's why the Games and TIs and stuff can go over there and shut shit down like crazy.
Bro, Fabulous. Yeah, dude, I remember like, cause I've been following G-Unit and 50 Cent since they came out like pretty aggressively. And I would say 5 years from like after the G-Unit run pretty much being over to all like matter of facts, like, bro, they were still selling out shows in Europe. You know what I mean? Like, and bringing like Fabulous and Red Cafe on tour. Like, so yeah, man, I just think Europe is like late to it sometimes. But again, as like the blog world and podcasts, like this shit's becoming smaller and smaller, bro. So it's almost like they're finally getting the infrastructure to like have like their own audio theory over there. You know what I mean? Where it's just like they're trying to put people on to newer artists. Cause again, it's just easier now, right? Back in the day, like, bro, like it was the only reason I knew about this shit when I was living in India is because like my brothers would send me CDs. You know what I mean? Otherwise, like there was like, it was almost impossible to know what the fuck was going on. Like I remember I would go to the local radio station in New York's website, hot97.com, and like look at their top 10 songs of the week to track like, yo, what's popular now that I need to download on Morpheus and pray to God my computer's fucking shut down. Like,
I haven't heard that name in forever. Morpheus.
Right? Bro, I think I told you the story. It took me, because we were like in India, we had dial-up when I was still like in 7th, 8th grade. And it took me, no exaggeration, bro, 3 days to download the Nelly and Kelly Dilemma video. 3 days? Bro.
God
3 days, bro. And then when I watched that shit, I was like, this? Bro, this motherfucker, she's texting in a fucking calculator?
Oh, like, Damn, I forgot about that too. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's just such a different time, bro. But again, like, I think overseas, like there was so like those kind of things are involved in these like random ass like, you know, Czechoslovakia, bro. Like obviously they have like internet connection, but like what are they really on, right? Like obviously, but they know about 50 Cent, so he's in town, let's go see 50 Cent kind of a thing. Like I heard Busta Rhymes still kills it overseas, whereas like, bro, I think it'll be hard for Busta Rhymes to sound like a fucking like your local like, you know, amphitheater, you know. So it's just different over there, bro. But yeah, go peep the Heat of the Week playlist. Anything else you want to bring up, bro, before we get out of here?
No, I think we're good.
Awesome, dude. Back in the swing of things. Episode 144 in the books. Let the people know what we got going on. Let's get out of here.
Yes, sir. Check us out at audio-theory.com. New episode every week on all platforms. We also have the Spotify and Apple Music playlist up as well. So check out the new Heat of the Week selection each week. If you're on YouTube, check down below for some merch. Copy a hoodie, t-shirt, sticker, whatever the case is. Got something for you. Otherwise, like, subscribe, share, donate, do what you can to support the channel, and appreciate you.
Absolutely. Hit the fucking like button. Put some, maybe a couple comments of topics you guys want us to discuss, and we'll definitely do so. But my dude, love you as always. Talk soon.
Too.
Peace.
Peace.